Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Barry here with the Scryguys, and today I hope you guys don't mind. Just running a little short on time to actually make a full slideshow for you guys. But today we're going to be doing Bello, Bard of the Brambles, aka Bard of Enchantments. No humans allowed in this deck. So Bloomberg just got spoiled the whole set and everything, and so me and Quest wanted to do a full deck list of all the pre-cons and just having no humans allowed, because after seeing the actual deck list of all the decks, there was humans. There's a no human zone in this plane. So I am tasked today with Bello, Bard of the Brambles. Let's read them. One and Gruul, legendary creature, Raccoon Bard. During your turn, each non-equipment artifact and non-or enchantment you control with mana value 4 or greater is a 4/4 elemental creature in addition to its other types, and has indestructible haste, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So really cool commander. A little bit off colors with at least these. I feel like at least with those. And man, I want to tell you right now, this kind of made it a little bit harder to not have the enchantresses in here. But you know, we're still gonna sing to some enchantments. So let's look at our creature base right now. We're only rocking 12 creatures, mainly because this is a, as you can see on the bottom, $131 deck. I didn't want to go too crazy with it. I know Quest did. But yeah, let's look at these. So most of our creatures, the only reason we have such a low count in this deck is because we also have artifacts and enchantments that can also count as creatures as long as our commander is on the board. So we have and again, we have to stick with the themes. No humans, right? Birds of Paradiso, Fanatic of Ronus, Lotus Cobra, Sakura Triber, Elder, and a Trails Tracker Scout are really pretty good mana dorks for this deck. I mean, Lotus Cobra and Sakura Triber, they're a different kind of mana dork. They just get us lands or produce us some lands, so that's really great for us. We have Cody Scavenger to replace our Eternal Witness, who is a human scout. We also have Simian Spirit Guide for another version of just more ramp. Eidolon of Blossom. This is me stretching it just a little bit for me to at least have at least one instance of Enchantress in here. It's a spirit, so it's not a human, so it doesn't count. But it has Consolation. Whenever it or another enchantment enters the battlefield, you get to draw a card. We have Joyous Familiar because we do have a fair amount of artifacts in this deck. We only have a couple of legendary creatures in here, but that's mainly, and it's also a bird. We have Toski because it's a squirrel, Orin Frostfang because we can go ahead and double up on our draw card abilities for this deck, and then we have Roxanne. So I also try to stay away from humanoid type of creatures, but it's a cat that gives us mana rocks. It's super awesome. And it also bolts when they ETB, so that's also another great thing. Alright, let's look at our sorceries right here. So we have Blasphemous Act, we have Farseek. I'm pretty sure like the pretty basic as far as ramp packages go. We're sticking to like 2s and 3s right here. So we have our Trinity right there. We have Cultivate and Kodama's Reach. Genesis Wave is going to be a sweet card in here, because if we could do, you know, at least 6, we might get a decent amount of hits in there, especially for our fun enchantments that we're gonna have in this deck. We have Fade from History. So really cool is that, like, because if our enchantments or artifacts are going to be 4 greater, they're going to gain indestructible, so we can kind of wipe the board of smaller mana rocks or just anything like troublesome below 4 mana, and just gift our opponents, basically possibly putting them down to the Stone Age with erasing their mana rocks and just giving them little cute cubs. We have Triumph of the Hordes, which I believe is going to be the most expensive card in this deck, going at $13. But being able to give our creatures infect and give us a way to end the game, honestly. And same with Overwhelming Stampede as well, just giving everything +4/+4, making them 8/8s indestructible with Trample is pretty devastating. Especially the longer our stuff sits on the field. And then we have Shamanic Revelation for one to give us a lot of card draw, and then to also possibly gain us a decent amount of life. Let's look at our instances. So we have Great Train Heist. Now, I said that there's not going to be any human creatures. In the art, it's a whole different story. This one was just great for us to give us another combat step. Red Elemental Blast to hopefully do away with those Cycrows. Again, we're like it's like $131 deck, so we're not gonna be able to fit in like a decent amount of the stuff in here. We have Tamio Safekeeper and Tyvar Stand to help protect our commander out there. We have Braid to deal 3 damage or destroy an artifact. Beast Within and Chaos Warp as well. We have Entis Inspiration, which is going to give us 3 basic lands if we have control of a creature power 4 or greater. We have Bolt Bend, which is going to be our budget deflecting SWAT, and then we have Return of the Wild Speaker, which is pulling double duty. You guys know how much I love modal cards, so being able to at least possibly draw 4 to 8 cards depending on when you play it, or giving all of our enchantments and artifacts +3/+3. So it's always fun. So our artifact package is going to look pretty basic, at least for the early ones. We have Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Felwar Storm, Gruul Signet, and Talisman Impulse. Curse Mirror, I love that there's like a reprint of this because it's a really good card. Just being able to copy something onto the battlefield and then later on just becoming a mana rock, which is really cool. I didn't want to go too heavy with the vehicles just because I wanted to stay on theme with the animals. But there's a couple good vehicles out there. So we have Asika's Chariot, which is going to produce us 2/2/2 cats. Firemind Vessel, we have a couple of these in here. It does come in tap, so I might take it out for something else. Maybe if, I don't know, Threatened Animals already in this deck, I forgot. But also just being able to give us like 2 mana of different colors is always good. We have Gruul Warplow, which gives all our creatures trample, and then it can, you don't have to ever pay for that because our commander turns it into a 4/4 artifact, or a 4/4 indestructible creature with haste. So we have Hedron Archive, which is great. Lets us sacrifice it if we need to. Horde Hauler, another pretty good one. Because it can generate us a bunch of treasures. Not a bunch, but like a decent amount of treasures over the course of the game, and we never really have to crew it unless our commander isn't out. We have a Nautiloid ship. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It has flying. When it enters the battlefield, exit target player's graveyard, and then whenever it deals combat damage, we get to steal something from that graveyard. So again, really great that we probably won't have to crew it. And then we have Sisei's Ring, Threat Dynamo, and Gilded Lotus. Another way for us to act, another way for us to ramp, but also have some 4/4 beaters on there. Now we're going to go to the fun part, which is our enchantments. So we have Enchantress's Presence, which is a pretty basic card to have in any type of heavy enchantment deck. Aether Flash, though, is not something you get to really see every day. Whenever a creature comes into play, it deals 2 damage to it. So we're going to be able to have people kind of hold off on their Esper Sentinels and all that stuff, all that nonsense. And also we have a 4/4 beater. Bedlam is another fun one for us. Creatures can't block, so we're going to at least try to be super aggressive in this deck. Games with this guy shouldn't go too long because no one's going to be able to block anything. And the same thing with this Burning Earth, 3 and a red. Whenever a player taps a non-basic land for mana, it deals 1 damage to them. So we do have a decent amount of non-basics in here, but I feel like we have a decent amount of basics in here. And just like the faster the game keeps getting, the less and less that you see of basics, unless it's a monocolored deck. And even monocolored decks seem to have a decent amount of non-basics in there now. So and again, another 4/4 beater for us. Now we have Frontier Siege, pretty cool. It's going to give us the ability to either ramp during our main phases, or if we really don't have a lot of flying creatures in here besides like Birds of Paradise or something, so you're never really going to pick dragons. It's always going to be cons. But again, 4/4 beater. Gimli's Reckless Might gives our creatures haste, and then whenever you attack, if creatures you control have total power 8 or greater, target attacking creature you control fights up to one target creature you don't control. So it's going to be a nice way for us to get rid of a blocker or something like that, or maybe someone is holding back a creature, so then when we swing out with our enchantments we could deal 4 damage to it, hopefully getting rid of that creature in the process. We have Gruul Warchant, which each attacking creature you control gets +1 and can be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. So again, another way for us to clear the way as the game keeps going on. Now we have 2 versions of this one too. Outpost Siege. I believe we're probably gonna pick cons for the most part for this, because we just want that extra card draw or that impulse draw. Same with Visions of Phyrexia, which is going to give us that ability as well. And then if we don't play that card, we get a Power Stone to play our artifacts in there. Asceticism is great because it gives our creatures hexproof, and then we can regenerate target creature. Now when it's not our turn, our enchantments are no longer creatures, so that kind of but it also gives us a way to keep our commanders safe and on the board, so when we get back to our turn, we can go ahead and swing out and deal a whole bunch of damage. We have cards like Berserker Onslaught, which is going to give all of our indestructible 4/4s double strike. Glorious Sunrise is a really cool card in here. It gives all our creatures +1/+1 and trample, so if we need to get through, we can go ahead and do that. Gives one of our lands the ability to tap for 3 green, draw a card if we control a creature with power for 3 or greater, which we should, and that where we can go ahead and gain life. Another cool one is Side of the Scale Lords, 4 in a green. At the beginning of combat on your turn, creatures you control with toughness 4 or greater get +2/+2 and vigilance. The vigilance doesn't really matter, but the +2/+2 does. Now all our indestructible hasty enchantments and artifacts are now 6/6s instead of 4/4s, which is gonna lead into this one as well, giving them double the power. Mana Reflections, it's a pet card of mine. I could probably do without this card, honestly. It's a 6 mana do nothing, but in this deck it's a 6 mana 4/4 indestructible haste that can possibly draw me a card, so sue me. And then we have City on Fire. Giving our creatures the ability to deal triple damage, and if we can convoke it, so say we don't need to really swing out during one turn, we can go ahead and tap all of our creatures, convoke it for 3 red, and then have this for the next turn. Or we could even do it before and just have him swing out and deal 16 damage to something, and if they have trample, then they have trample. I don't know what to tell you guys. But that's what it's looking like for the deck. Here's the land base right here. I know it's a lot of tap lands, but it's kind of hard to build something like this on a budget. I mean, it's not hard, but it's just, But as you can see, we do also have a fair amount of non-basics, but we do have 16 basics, and it's only really 1 card, so it's not going to really hurt us as much as you think. So yeah, that's what the deck is looking like right now. Let's look at a test hand. That's a lot. Yeah, let's just play test this one. Alright, so draw for the turn. Cool. Come on. Oh, we don't really have a play, so next turn. Again, not another play, so next turn. Cool. See, we don't really need to put them out right. No, we can't. We should put them out. So let's go ahead and tap that, and then that way Gruul Warpillow can come out next turn. Or we can play Eidolon of Blossoms, so it draws us a card already. Yeah, let's just do that. So it'll draw us a card. Let's see if we swing out. Hopefully nobody has something. Let's draw another card. Just hopeful, right? Let's see. I don't think we need Blighted Woodlands at this point. So let's go ahead. Turn that. Let's do that. Yeah. Let's just get another draw. Oh wait, no. Actually, let's go like this. 4, and then we'll tap that for 3. There you go. Creatures who control trample. 4/4. Ooh, actually, hold on. Probably want to do that so that way we could leave up the Elemental Blast. So yeah, it's not the fastest deck, but it's also it's a pretty decent budget. It's nice for casual play, and I think it's a fun commander for casual. Probably if you hype this or beef this up with a higher budget, it could possibly get nastier even faster. So, and also if you don't have the stipulation of not having any humans, then you could have the enchantresses in here, and it really take advantage, and probably cut down on the artifacts, and then go just more heavy for the enchantments. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys are having fun with the Bloom Burrow set, and have a good day. Oh, and like, comment, subscribe. Have a good day.